Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Last time, Neuro gave a good update in the chat that upon returning from the spire out in the middle of the bay, you returned to the fort to find that contact had been lost with Witch Guardian Arisa at her tower, where she and Dex had previously, just a few days beforehand, set up an obelisk. So you hurried up there to find a sort of ambush by Prince Zoramos and Princess Nasharala, and quite a few of their followers. They told you that they understood that neither of your groups wanted to have a big fight here. Rather, it was more of a we'll have the giant step on your lovely tower if you don't fight us on our terms, sort of deal. And they told you that they'd be waiting for you at a old Veshan arena off to the north. Fortunately, the harm that they did to Aris's tower and the obelisk was fairly superficial, and you all were able to put it back together with her help, and she was able to reintegrate herself easily into the obelisk network. And with a little bit of advice and memory from her, you all found out about a potential location that could be fortifiable nearby this old arena, which would be the a castle, small fort that used to stand a few miles away from it. Now, if I remember correctly, the plan was to have your squad go to that place and make an attempt to fortify it, knowing that the dragons would be waiting for you at the arena, and then, if you're to believe their word, marching south when you don't show up, and hopefully attract their attention. In the meantime, the Brigadier and Dex and some reinforcements will be marching as quickly as they possibly can up to meet you from the southern Orvis area. And if all goes well on their end, and depending on how long things take on your end, they hope to catch you before this fight actually starts.
That would be absolutely ideal. We need some preparation time.
Well, yeah. That said, if they do show up in the middle of the battle, they'll at least have surprise on their side.
That is also true. So I think what we're going to do is, just as a more direct reminder for the timetables, because it only has been a couple days for your characters, even though we haven't played in about a month. The dragons told you that they were leaving now, and you've since repaired the obelisk to prepare for the Redshift. They told you at the next clearing of the Redshift, they were going to wait for you at that arena, and they were going to give you about 3 days to show up, make your preparations, and march over to them. They're not giving you a whole lot of time to get there. It's about 50 miles north of where you are, according to them. So you would have to pretty much set off and have little time to kind of reinforce yourselves. But the fort is roughly between there and here. So you may get a little bit of buffer time there. We are going to start you all at the morning that the Redshift clears. So you've had some time to prepare yourselves at the tower. And as for the rest of your entourage, Sharp, Lulu, Kuromizawa, Angela, and Jabberlax. They are kind of just following your lead here. They have been pretty much on board with you guys. Some of you guys have encountered these people before, and you were definitely the crew who was instrumental in dealing with their brother previously. So they are ready and prepared for battle and planning to join you on this fort adventure, unless you have other plans for them if you think they could better be used elsewhere.
Interesting. I don't know. I think we're already split as a force just by the fact that we need to be reinforced. So we probably want to keep them close. At bare minimum, it's more labor as we try to, build some sort of defense.
Yeah, and you've got 2 entire ass wizards with you, so that's a potential lot of reinforcements that could happen. Two outside of Nimbus. I meant to move you guys over to this one, and I forgot while I was talking. My bad.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know that we necessarily want to be seen as right on their heels, but I feel like the sooner we actually get on the way, the better.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what their mode of locomotion is. As far as you've seen so far, it seems like they walk. Giants do take pretty big steps.
Right.
But you don't.
They also didn't seem to be too terribly put off by the thought of the Redshift.
They've not really spoken much about it in the conversations you've had with them. They've talked about it more like the weather.
Okay. So either they have their own way of handling it, or
yeah, it was very much a we'll see you at this time. Go by the big red clock, and if you don't show up by the time it ends, then we'll march.
All right.
Do you guys have any last minute preparations you want to make before you go? This would be we would be at the point where the Redshift is clearing up. If anybody hasn't taken a long rest from last time, now is your chance. And information from home base at Orvis is that Brigadier Demira and Dex are both leading a team north. Again, they're on their way as quickly as they can be, but it's still going to take them a good few days to reach you. And that's not even considering the 30 to 40 people they're bringing with them.
Are there any I want to call it supplies here for the place that we were supposed to be building up before we lost communication here? I'm talking about things like lime or anything like that.
You don't have building supplies here. What you really have here are camping supplies. So you've got some of the basics. You might be able to scrounge up something useful if you can kind of tell me what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, I don't really see an excuse for there to be anything if no one was doing any building stuff. Because
that was basically what was about to start happening before you guys lost contact. Like a team was probably going to come out here and start doing that stuff.
That's no dice.
Pretty shortly.
Yeah, that's no dice then. I was really hoping there might be something like quicklime or something that I could use.
Got it.
Well, we have, presumably there's plants, and we have Nimbus, so we can make pykrete.
That's not the reason why I wanted the quicklime. I wanted to use the quicklime as more of a weapon kind of source.
Got it. Yep, I totally see it.
This is our last, this obelisk is our last.
This is your
contact with anyone back at Orvis or whoever's
Yes,
trapped?
it is. Yeah. So if you have any last minute notes you want to make to the rest of the commission, now would be the time.
You said camping supplies. Could there be like a roll or two of wool around here?
I think that's pretty reasonable. It is very early spring at this point.
Yeah, the intended use, if I may, because we have a little bit to prepare, and Alvis Taver could prepare these bundles, is he could find burnable materials, dry stuff, and
Yeah.
shove it into rolls of wool. And his idea is maybe strategically using them as smoke screen later on in the battle, because it would create a very thick white smoke.
I see what you're getting at. Would that just be the educate me? Is that just the wool that does that, or would you need particularly like smoky burnables inside it?
That's exactly why he would be gathering a bunch of smoky burnables inside of it. But the wool itself, once you can get it heated up, will create a very dense and white smoke. It also creates like a chemical reaction, but Alvis Taver is not smart enough for that. I barely know exactly what's going
sure.
on there historically, but I do know that it billows really well once you get it
Okay,
burning.
yeah. You can probably assemble 3 or 4 of those, depending on how big you want them. Like if you want them to take up like 1 square and then maybe billow out into a 3x3.
Like that. So 4 of those kinds
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah, I think that would be. You could find enough of that, and then you could just pick up kindling on the way.
After that, I'm gonna add those under. Well, what should we call those? Wool bundles.
Sure. Yeah. They'd be pretty heavy, but I'm sure you can find some place to put them.
Laren and I we share a horse.
Yeah.
I mean, his horse.
Yeah.
Why did I add coming? Oh God, no!
Sorry.
I pressed a button, and it added a whole bunch of common items.
Oh
to
no!
my
Rip.
fucking...
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, you'll get to deal with that for the next 10 minutes. Don't worry. It adds top to bottom, so I don't think it fucked up the rest of your inventory. Does anybody else have any last minute notes that need to happen?
Gone ahead and moved around prepared some spells that are different.
Okay, nice.
So
Yeah, I likewise changed my loadout a little bit.
here's a funny bit, and I need to know your interpretation of it before I go forward making battle plans around it. Leomund, rest in peace, Mr. Leomund's tiny hut.
Okay.
So the way you parse the words on it usually is you can't cast spells in and out of it. If everybody leaves it, it disappears. Or I think actually if you, the caster, leave it,
It's if the caster leaves the area. Okay.
Nothing, no spells, no attacks, no creatures can come in, no objects from the outside.
Right.
They don't mention anything about a floor, so I don't know how resilient it is against burrowing, or if it attempts to block it from the bottom as well.
I believe it calls it a dome, not a sphere. So I would call that a hemisphere.
Okay. I'm saying is the ground though part of the spell, or is something coming up from below able to potentially screw with it?
Generally, what I've seen is that stuff coming from below is one of the weaknesses of that spell.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's fair.
So yeah, I would allow. Obviously, there must be like a little bit of depth. Maybe a couple inches down, you couldn't just stick something straight under there and burrow in very rapidly. But if you were fighting like a bullet or something, it would probably pretty easily get in there and start snapping you up.
Yeah, I would imagine if you're able to get a large creature in there, that'll automatically pop it, or if you're able to violate the creature limit. Though if a creature is actually ascended into it and they haven't violated the limit, I would imagine they just get kind of like rejected. They would just get bounced out or something.
They're barred from passing through it.
Yeah, there's nothing about staying inside though.
That's true. So
Yeah. So if some enemy was able to burrow into it, they could, in theory, just hang out in there.
Yeah, actually, the way I read that, they couldn't leave except by the way they came in.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
true.
they'd have to burrow back out.
okay. So
But yeah, whenever let's see, yeah, so it's a self 10-foot radius. So you and whoever is in there with you when you cast it, as long as that's in the limit, and it doesn't cost the spell to fail, then they can move through it freely. But regardless of who's friendly with the spell, nobody can cast spells through it.
okay.
So
and now here's one other question parsing
Yeah.
about that cast spells through it. If somebody attempts to use counterspell to get rid of it, am I basically meeting that spell with my counterspell on the surface of it, or am I unable to project a counterspell out to protect it?
It wouldn't be done until the reactions resolve. You wouldn't be done casting Tiny Hut. So that situation would be: I cast Tiny Hut, villain casts counterspell.
No.
I
don't mean that. I mean,
Oh,
not counterspell. They cast dispel magic, or probably disintegrate would get rid of it too.
let me see. I believe both of those would get rid of it. Does disintegrate actually specify that?
I think disintegrate specifies like your glorious mansion and the other one, the structures.
Disintegrate specifically says it can target creations of magical force. It does specify the spell Wall of Force. It doesn't say Tiny Hut, but I think these would be an immobile dome of force. So those are essentially the same school.
Dispel should also get rid of it.
Yeah, because dispel would.
So I guess that's my question. From within the bubble, would I be able to resist a dispel attempt with counterspell?
I see. Technically, no. I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
yeah, because that would be casting from within the dome to out of the dome, which is not legal.
I still think the dome is worth using, but it's got to be at a position where once it breaks, either people are ready to rush forward or hold the line, or otherwise that we can kind of fold back in. Like if there's a main gateway or something that we can block with it.
Right, yeah, it is something you could use as like a temporary barricade as well, like something is going to go away shortly. It's also not concentration,
Correct.
So...
I definitely plan.
It ends if you personally leave. Okay.
No, it ends if I leave, but if I put Dragon's Breath on Badath and have him do strafing runs and keep coming back in, then, that's what I do.
Yeah.
He's so going to get swatted down in this battle. Oh, well. Worth it.
You have Tiny Hut?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I took that at level 6. High priority.
Oh man, do we have
It's a ritual, so I can just put it down.
Yeah, how many physical ranged attackers do we have?
Irenaeus.
I mean, I think it's just me.
Well, no, I think a lot of people have ranged weapons. Like I have my my what's it called launcher, so I can at least fire like a light crossbow of any type.
Yeah. We do have well, hold on.
Elvis, do you have a bow? Do you have throwing weapons?
Jabberlax rocks a short bow pretty well.
Ranged attacks. Non-magical ranged attacks.
No.
Kuromisawa is a longsword man,
No, I have no such range attack.
and the rest of the team are
Magic.
squishies, as they say.
Yeah, it's just one of the things I love about the way Lehman's Tiny Hut's rules are written. Any object you're wearing when you're inside and it's been cast and you're okay can pass freely through the hut, and it can be opaque, and it's 10 squares across. So rogues can stand on one end of the dome, fire at creatures at the other, and get advantage.
Yes.
Yep. Oh,
just
Mr. Sharp,
fun.
what does he have?
He has.
It doesn't matter. Fuck that guy.
You're saying he doesn't get inside the hut?
Okay.
No,
You know what? Yeah. So I'm gonna make sure we adjust.
You just stand within a
spells
radius of that guy?
spells. So
What was that? I
he's
didn't hear you,
going
sir.
to keep. I'm gonna have him drop. Here we go. I'm gonna make sure that he has counter spell equipped. So this means that he will have Acid Arrow, Blindness, Deafness, Web, Jump, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Shield, Counterspell, and Sending. Sharp is pretty reliable about being able to get in touch with the rest of the commission. So he's offered to be your Sending guy.
Excellent.
Lufael is already pretty set. Let's see. She could switch out See Invisibility for Shatter, and she could switch out Featherfall for Grease. Either of those might be a better choice.
Yeah. I think you're right on that.
Okay, we'll do that. And then she's got a couple other basics in there, and then Angela can do, because she is a cleric.
I mean, the only other way to do it would be like a gimmicky sort of thing if we know that there's a roof on this structure, to put Featherfall on Montlar and Elvis Tavern and have them like jump off the roof into battle on a horse. On a Featherfall horse.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not sure what that accomplishes.
You know, that's the problem, is that you're going to be up in the thick of it real fast and you're not going to have any way out. So that's why it's not a good idea. If it was a movie...
I'm just gonna say Angela is already loaded with all the good life cleric shit. So don't worry about her.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
I wonder.
Oh, and I'll just inform you guys now that Angela has 1 dose of Revivify.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
As like a spell scroll or a.
It's like a
she has the
100 gold
material
resource or something.
It's 300 of diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she can't do it more than once, but she does have 1 in the back pocket.
Is that effectively a battle res?
What was that?
Effectively a battle res?
Yes, 1
Yeah.
minute. You can revive anyone who's been dead for less than 1 minute.
And how many healers do we have?
Angela is a life cleric, so she qualifies as a healer, I think.
Yep.
That's it from the B team.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have at least a cure wounds, probably a couple.
Yeah.
And then I can lay on hands for 25 points as well.
And you've got some big healing words from Amber Green and obviously Naya. You've got your good spirit shit.
Yeah, I've got 4 healing curative spells up. So I figured primarily I'll be heals.
Wait, Amber Green has a crossbow, doesn't he?
Oh, he does
Oh,
have
yeah, he does have
I
a
forgot.
crossbow, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so he's in the range team. I mean, range team should probably have some sort of tough person in it, so if things get close, you can kind of swing out from inside, and if it gets broken,
Yeah, and I
You got
mean,
somebody to hold the line for a
also,
sec.
like, it's not like, aside from the person who casts it, other casters could step out of the hut, cast a spell, and then step back in.
That's
That is
true.
Right.
That's definitely valid and
Um,
worth doing. So I think that's kind of going to be the cornerstone of it, is that we're going to use that to kind of mitigate early damage and give us an opportunity to kind of lay the damage down on them. And once that finally fails, if they finally realize they can do a burrow sort of thing or manage to get a successful dispel magic in, then we'll be at the gate, so we'll just be able to fall back and we'll be in good position still.
Yeah.
But-
So you're
Oh, I was gonna say that depends on the actual condition of the place. We got to get there first and see what we're working with.
right.
Only we had a qualified team of sappers, we could try doing tunnel warfare against the giants.
I think salamanders naturally burrow, so we'd kind of be at a disadvantage. Like, weren't they going through tunnels, the young salamanders, around the fire elemental? The greater fire elemental?
That is true. I don't think you've seen whether these do the same, though, because you have only encountered that one.
That's true, but I guess I wouldn't necessarily put it past them. I don't know how fast they do it, so if we can still kind of take down a lot of their numbers or beat them up a bunch before they realize it and manage to pull it off, then not so bad. If we don't have the entire 9-person capacity and one pops in, they're not large creatures, are they?
The salamanders are in fact large, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then they would just pop it anyway. Oh, well then.
So, jumping back from tactics, I think on our march north, because I mean the hexes are 6 miles aside is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
So I think what Arrhenius is going to do is mark trees for the troops following us.
Okay.
Just as
Yeah, that's a good call. That might help them speed things up if they don't have to look for you.
If they aren't like tracking us, and instead they're just like following, maybe not frequent trail markers, but every 100, 300 feet or so, just slash a tree or just take a round out.
Aldous Taver will make note of this so he can add the route to his map and then tell Amber Green about it later so he can dramatize it. It's the legendary path taken by the warriors.
Very good. Okay, does anybody else have anything that they want to cover while you still have the opportunity to
I guess
plan?
my question to the leadership is, should we all end up failing here, then what's your plan going forward? Like, is it going to be full retreat from Orvis? Are there armies on the way?
You better not
Well.
fucking retreat. If you say that you're going to retreat now,
No, we have forces. We have our fighters ready to go as soon as the Redshift breaks, and we are going to march to Aris's tower. And if we can catch up with you, then we'll meet you where you start this fight. But if something does go wrong, it's my responsibility, the brigadier says, to protect this organization and the people in it. So I'll do what I have to do. For me, hopefully, that means eliminating the threat. However, if things do not go according to that plan, then we will see if we have to open negotiations or pick a worse path.
I'm bringing a ritual for the demon or devil, just in case I have to sell my soul. Get out of death quick.
Oh, I mean, if you were gonna summon him, you would just tell him he's the one who caused the thing that imprisoned him. That they're the ones that caused the Redshift. I'm sure he would just go berserk on them.
Good point.
Let's maybe not
go
to that immediately.
No. That is, after beaten and bruised, and somehow from the vanguard, Alvis Taver manages to escape, starves in the wilderness, and has no other choice.
Right.
It's just a note with the ritual on it, so it's like it's weightless. It's like it's a prop.
I thought you needed a candle, and a statue.
That could be a candle and statue wrapped around with the note. It says a note with Stygian ritual waking the sleeping king. So it's probably the whole like kit and caboodle put together.
Yeah, you have the description of the ritual you needed to perform, essentially.
Cool. All right.
I gave a copy of that to some collectors. Hopefully they can give it to people who know the right stuff.
Sending is a ritual.
Yes. I shall sell you the forbidden knowledge.
Well, I mean, I'm a student. I didn't sell it for them. They take care of me to do stuff like that for them.
Right. They funded your research.
Oh, I wish I had research.
Don't
even talk about Sharp.
But yeah, the plan is to meet you and deal with the problem first, and then if dealing with the problem the way the problem wants to be dealt with does not work, then we'll just say for now that if your team all dies, then you'll be dead and you won't have to worry about it.
Oh, I mean, there'll be consequence, but never mind.
So what it sounds like is we fight to death. There is no retreat option set up.
No, that's up to you. And this is me talking out of character. You don't have to, and you're not being ordered to fight to the death. Obviously the hope and expectation is for you to win.
Obviously.
But if you think retreat is necessary, then it's always an option you have.
Okay.
The biggest thing, I guess, is going to be coordinating how much progress they make versus where we're at. And if it sounds like they're not going to be able to get to us before the enemy is, then it might be worth us actually just retreating to meet back with our people and set up tactics wherever we find them.
My big fear about doing something like that is well, at least the small mouthy one seems to just really want a huge brawl. And that's not something that we're able to give them at all, really. So depending on whatever happened when that one's temper flies. I'm not preparing for the worst, but it doesn't seem like it would be. It doesn't seem like we'd be able to talk to them at that point.
Just making a note. I can hear you guys, but I've let the dog out, so I have to stand by the door. Just
Okay.
may question. It takes a while.
But yes, so
Yeah, I think it's fair. I mean, I get it that she's not looking at retreat. Maybe she doesn't have a retreat plan figured out. But basically telling us that we'll figure it out when we get there isn't very good tactics. So I'm guessing she has a plan. She just doesn't want to tell us what it is if things go badly. It sounds like we will be significantly outgunned and possibly outmanned. And if it's a war that they want, which is kind of what it sounds like,
She says
we're not able
she
to.
says no. You're right. The real plan is to keep. Yeah, if we have to worry about what happens after the fight, if you do need to retreat, we should probably retreat to RSS Obelisk, and if we can somehow hold it out until the Redshift starts, or if we need to go all the way to Fort Castus and hold that out until the Redshift starts, then there's a time limit on a fight, on any fight that we deal with in this place, and whoever is outside the obelisk's zone at the end of that time limit loses. We have the advantage in that we have a few fortifications around here. So if we can hold any one of them, then that at the very least would buy us another week while they retreat, if they're smart enough for that.
And if they don't have something else figured out for how to get through the Redshift.
I can only work off of the assumption that if that was the case, they would have already gotten to Orvis by now.
Okay.
That's an astute observation. I was actually under the opposite feeling until now. I thought they were clearly just careless and they just didn't come over here because of their childlike demeanor.
Well,
I mean, I think they want to. It sounded like they want a war, so they're making concessions that sound like they're for us because they know we can't survive the Redshift. That's the way they made it sound. Now
They're full of braggadocio, though. I don't trust anything.
I agree. I don't trust it either.
And they're making a gambit to pull you into their territory.
So yeah, we're also counting on them to act on their own threats of marching south when we don't show up on time, which we won't show up on time. I don't think it's possible.
Yes, no matter how it goes, we're playing with fire on this one. They could be lying and simply decide to travel south instead. If you feel like testing that theory, I'm more inclined to, from their behavior so far, assume they meant what they said. But
oh, indeed. But there is a lot of unproved confidence in their words and actions, and
pretty typical of trash talk.
Of course, but not out of the question that it could just be hot air of these threats should what they want not come to pass. But that doesn't mean we should count on that, and that doesn't mean we should overly prepare for it.
Kuromizawa says, it seems to me like they've never had anybody get in their way before, and we're the first people they've ever met who have gotten under their feet.
So I wonder if they've never actually been tested in a challenging fashion.
Plenty of monsters out here, but not
antagonistic intent. Well, in their eyes.
Okay, well, we will do our best as always, and see what happens. I presume if there is actually a retreat called, there's some kind of a horn or some kind of a sound or something.
Never fear, Sharp says. I will keep a round of sending ready to go on case of retreat. Don't worry, if we need it, I'll make sure I put out the call on time and to whoever's still in charge on the back line. Right behind you.
Okay, well, let's get on the road then.
Well, let's see what we're working with.
So I actually had a little bit of an idea, depending on if we have time or not.
Yeah, what's up?
So I typed it into the chat too, and that was selecting a few of us. That's probably maybe a team, to be honest. Also taking into account what Nimbus was talking about with his stratagem. But setting aside a team to, if we have enough time, hide in wait so that when I set off the smoke screen, that they can use the opportunity of the initial battle set to sneak in an attack or an opportunity in the battle.
So you're saying hide. You're talking about setting an ambush 100 feet out from the
a retreating blow, as it were.
It could be a retreating blow if we were to flee, but I was even expecting to use them even earlier on to the battle, more like pull them towards us, and then they don't even think about, they wouldn't think about them because they'd be hidden, right? They would come and fight us, thinking that that's the force, and then, then we could strike from behind. Stabber makes a little, stabbing motion. Nice, Nio.
Well, we're all on the same page here, it sounds like, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have enough time for preparations or not. That really depends on if we get out. I was just, I wanted to make sure that the idea was known and not just floating there in chat.
All right. So, Alistair, Arisa is going to give you some guidance on this fort that she remembers. Obviously, she does not know the exact location on the kind of not shoddy, but less detailed map that you have.
I've rolled numerous 20s in the craft.
But she basically gives you directions as what they said is true. If her memory, after all these years, if her old halfling memory still serves correct, that arena, not really an arena. She says they used it for like horse racing and that sort of thing. But let them call it whatever they want to call it.
Like a Circus Maximus.
She says it should be just about 50 miles, almost due north of here, a little bit east. If you travel east around the Flower Sea, and then as you come around it, go north, you should hit at some point a fort. I don't know how easy it will be to find. I don't even know if it will still be standing, to be honest, but it's your best shot.
Are there any natural landmarks that wouldn't be affected by the Redshift that you know about that are on the way?
Any
would mark that we've gone too far either? He asks that one a little enthusiastically so that he can mark more on his map. Which apparently is less detailed than maps made by people who haven't been here for years.
Let me just double check to confirm.
Halfling ghost who hasn't seen a proper map in nearly the same exact amount of time.
This is all sotto voce, right? You don't want to hurt her feelings.
While the forest in these parts has gotten thicker over the past millennium, if my understanding of the area is still correct after all this time, if you leave the forest that we're currently in going north, you have certainly gone too far. And I do recall that giant mentioning that the arena was overgrown. So that's a sort of landmark you can look to avoid, leaving the forest. As for the arena itself and the fort that you're looking for, the fort is on a hill, so you may be able to see it from some distance, but
then again, it might be overgrown.
It may also be overgrown, yes, if it's still standing, and the forest is fairly thick, so it may be difficult to even see that far ahead of you, depending on where you are. It's a bit of a long shot.
And if anything, we may prove a classic Baggins and just climb up a tree.
Well, you might.
I am one of the small folks, so it would be, even more, to the letter of the thing that I was mentioning. Yeah.
We're lightweight. I'd almost say we belong in trees. If they weren't so high up.
Naya just looks at you.
I prefer caves, honestly. Alrighty then, we should make our way.
Indeed.
All right, I'll bring us to the world map. So, as the Redshift finally does clear early morning, just after dawn, you get your last notification from Orvis that the team is departing, and they will. They're estimating maybe 4 days to get here. They might be able to speed things up if they rush it. They will get to RSS Tower first, and they will reconvene with her. Dex is, of course, able to do sending, so he can get in touch with you and make sure things are good on your end. I fucking lied. He doesn't have sending. Never mind.
I was gonna say.
Does he have the message cantrip?
That only works in 120 feet.
That's true.
That's kind of a shit spell, really.
Well,
It's
no,
a-
you
it's a
can
cantrip.
also, yeah, it's a cantrip, but you can also, to get around that, you can put a message onto an object with an intended, like, a reader or something like that, so that you can go, what?
Are you sure that's not Magic Mouth?
It's not Magic Mouth. It could be a different spell, but I thought message, you could leave it there and then, go off.
It doesn't look like that one. No, message is just 2 single creatures. One time,
Okay.
one round. In any case, Sharp has contact with them, so he'll keep them updated. And
You have contact with them.
what?
Sorry, I was playing my character. How does Sharp have contact with them? Alvis wants unfettered contact to the Brigadier.
Oh, I'm afraid it's not as it's a little bit more fettered than I'd like it to be, but I can send to them in urgency. So, short messages if you have them.
Is there a limit?
The spell in particular is 25 words. And he says, I can cast it a few times. So let's save it for emergencies.
Okay.
But I will make sure to send for them as soon as we find and have claimed this fort, should it exist.
So if I wanted to send the Brigadier a poem, it would have to be 25 words maximum.
25 words, and for making me take the time and effort to do that, I'll call it maybe 25 gold per word. We can work it out later.
No. You strike a hard bargain, but I might be able to do that.
I know how you are with IOUs.
What? I am not in debt and have not been for at least 3 years.
No, of course not. That's why I said you're excellent at paying them whenever you take them, which is often.
What else am I going to make such beneficial gambles for our dear club? Remember the last time I did it with the goat and the vodka? That was brilliant.
Yes, I heard about that one through the club paper.
Sounds like a good story around the campfire.
We're going to do what we usually do, which is roll overworld initiative. So everybody who's here right now, let me clear out the initiative board. Find.
So don't roll it yet.
Your tokens are just south of where you currently are, so go ahead and click on your token, then roll your initiative, and we'll have everybody move in initiative order. We'll be moving at normal speed, which is 4 hexes a day, unless you guys want to go faster.
Look at that one.
Good start.
I was getting it out of the way.
That is how probability works.
Not.
All right, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Right, so we're going to do it the way we usually do it. Assuming you guys are moving at normal pace, whoever's turn it is will move 1 hex, and we will determine random encounters based on which hex we're on. So I'll tell you those as we go. So Nimbus, you're first up, so you get to be the first one to make a free move. And pull up my
So basically, about every hex, I would probably throw Nimbus, not Nimbus, Madath up in the air one time to kind of scope the area around and see if I can spot it from above.
Yeah. Like they said, you're kind of looking for something. If we pull out the ruler, like roughly this area, maybe. So somewhere around there. So based on Arisa's pointers, you could maybe find this castle like around here somewhere. That's just kind of the general area you're aiming.
Gotcha.
Okay, great. So are you guys going through the Flower Sea to start with?
I mean, we're familiar with it.
There's nothing stopping you from doing it, really. Just, yeah.
Well, and that's where you've got us placed, right? Is in the Flower Sea. I see flowers all the way around us.
Oh, well, that was Nimbus's first move. You guys started at the tower, so.
Yeah, I mean, going through, or at least cutting through diagonally if we wanted to skirt around it. But I figure if we don't go north, we're going to be spending a lot of time going where we don't need to.
Yeah,
Right.
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah, whichever is faster.
Irenaeus.
All right.
We don't have
This,
we don't have a ding like we do in Fantasy Grounds.
it's true. This like cavern crag.
Oh, that's just the hex that the dungeon was located in previously.
Gotcha.
And
You
all
don't have to go
orcs.
near it. What?
And orcs.
Yes, and orcs. Like I said, you don't have to go near it if you don't want to, but that's where it was.
Wasn't planning on it, but encounter check.
Actually, because you're in the Flower Sea. No, no encounters out here.
Okay.
So Naya's turn. All right, now Naya, I will need you to make the encounter check. No. 9 is fine. You're good. You guys have made it out of the Flower Sea back into the to the forest proper.
And what time is it?
Around you.
What time of day is it?
It's getting late in the afternoon. Days are starting to get longer though, so you've got a little bit of light left to keep going. And Lauren, as you get into the last hex, unless you guys are going to speed things up, you will want to start making camp.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So Montlarin will roll for you on the watch tonight.
Refresh my memory. That's the encounter check button?
Encounter check, yes. Encounter is if you roll the bad numbers.
Well, I wish I'd rolled that later, but I'll take it.
Yeah, a 20 is one of the good numbers. So you're fine. The night is uneventful. You have plenty of company around here. You think if anything was planning on bothering you, it's not going to do it when you've got about a dozen friends all sleeping around here. And you've even got Lufael, who does not sleep, much like you do. All right, so those 4 hexes put you about halfway to your destination, supposedly. So next morning, you guys are ready to go.
Nimbus, how far does your seeing through Badath's eyes spell go?
I usually get a 1 hex radius from that.
Yeah, if he takes the time to, like, what he usually does is like hop up onto an ice pillar and have Badath like fly around a little bit, and then I assume there's usually some like shouting down to Albus Taver to take notes and stuff too. That does take a little bit of time. So it's not something that you can do everywhere, but it's like a good thing that you can do kind of like at the end of your day. So
right, okay.
Actually, if you wanted to say that you did that when you guys were camping, I can give you a couple hexes as well.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Cool. Do that then. Okay. Forest, and forest all around.
Yep.
The hills roll more harshly to the east than they do to the west around here.
So if we were being watched, it would be hard for anybody to see us through the forest, as hard as it would be for us to see anybody through the forest, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Albus Tavern, would you like to move? You get the free one today.
I guess I'll move.
Okay. Nimbus, you're up.
All right. Gonna go this way then. We'll do the encounter check.
Okay. All right, can you roll the encounter button? 14. You all have stumbled into an area of the forest where, before you realized it, every tree, or not every tree, but many and most of the trees around your party are electrified and are suddenly violently discharging lightning in every direction, to the ground, to other trees.
Okay.
Mark this on the map. This might be a material we can use in the future. Perhaps a little too dangerous to collect it now.
And if everybody in the party could make a dexterity saving throw, that would be great.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Let me just go ahead and do one for everybody else too. So first we've got to do one for Amber Green. Oh, he did good. All right, that's nice. Now I've got to do one for the entire B team. Yeah. Okay, just make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, that sent to the GM. My bad. All right, that difference in roll doesn't make a difference. Angela. Crow. And Jarrux. Oh man. Good job to the goblin.
Oh, shit.
So everybody who rolled below a 15 takes that many of lightning damage.
Oh, shit.
Ow.
Well, it's not 8d6 or whatever the lightning bolt is. What I was scared of.
Okay, so I need to deal damage to Sharp, Angela, and Kuromizawa, as they are unable to avoid the threat. How do I deal damage to these as these sorts of characters? Hold on. I may have them set up in a fucky way. Okay, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to put their tokens on the map and then I can adjust them. Okay, but upon dealing with this problem by attempting to dodge the electricity and make your way through the area or out of the area the way you came, you're able to kind of get around and past it and not have to deal with this terrible electric copse anymore.
All right.
All right.
It is Arenaeus' turn.
Okay. Is this the last one for today?
This is the third one for today
Okay.
out of 4. Okay.
Roll the encounter check.
6. There are no problems on a 6.
Perfect.
So yeah, and you guys would be aware that you're kind of getting close to this supposed destination.
So probably head northeast, and then we can try to scan around from there.
Yeah, Naya, that'll be up to you.
Could you do your pointer again for
Oh,
42?
sure. Yeah. So if you're looking directly north from the tower, that's 54 hexes or 54 miles right there.
I thought it was 40 something.
48 is right there.
Okay.
That one's 42. That one's 48.
Yeah, okay.
Roughly speaking. Okay. So yeah, if Nimbus is going to do the same thing while you guys are camping out, and Naya, you can make the Night Watch check.
Oh, I did it as encounter. My bad.
No, you didn't. You're good.
Okay.
Okay. So, Nimbus, while scouting with Badath, you find 2 things. 1, you guys have reached the edge of the forest. 2, you're pretty sure you see the arena in this direction. It's very large, and we'll just say that you can pretty clearly see a lot of burn marks around it. 3, you're pretty sure you see another structure to your southeast.
Okay.
Up a hill from where you're currently standing below it.
So I will report that to everyone. If they do start marching, we're definitely going to have to do something to get their attention because we're going to be a fair distance away.
Well, if we have to, we'll invite them to the party. I figure in a worst case, we can raid out, strike them, and then have them chase us back.
That's true.
Give our apologies for being late.
What was the time limit they gave us?
3 days. You guys are coming up on the end of 2.
Okay. So we probably could make it to their fancy arena temple thing. But
Yeah, that's just a question of if we want to fight on their terms or ours, right?
Right.
well, yeah. I don't think we'll be able to make it there
Today? No.
not today, but tomorrow. Maybe if we rush, if we go to visit the fort Arisa mentioned. That might be a good thing, though, if we can kind of not purposefully lead them to our path through the woods here. But maybe find a way to direct them towards the fort. I wonder if you could see it from the air. I wonder if you can see pretty far from the actual structure itself, or if it's been a little buried and overgrown by time. That would be interesting. Or we could just use the entire fort as bait. Set like a campfire, small smoking signal flare in a high enough place, and they'd be able to see it on their march south. Perhaps pin them between our reinforcements and us. That's a thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Put on the act of fortifying that place and then have reinforcements come in on them from behind.
But then again, that gives them a fortified location if they do manage to make it there. We can sabotage what we can, though. That's not out of the question.
Yeah, usually forts are built in two kinds of prongs of defense, the outer walls and then the inner sanctum. If we could kind of booby trap the outer walls, make them look like they're fortified and lead them there, we could have our last ditch effort. We could flee into the final bastion, or we could just hold up there to begin with.
Yeah, I kind of would expect that we'd placed a lot of traps around wherever we hunker down. But that takes time, so we need to keep moving.
Does anyone else have any thoughts? I don't want to make a decision for the 10 of us here, but
No, I like the idea of propping up the fort.
Yeah,
luring
yeah.
them in.
That was our original plan, was setting up the fort. If it's at a high location, I'm sure, Mr. Giant will see if we're trying to get his attention from a distance.
Kuromizawa clambers up onto the ice pillar beside you, and he just kind of digs those claws in there and boosts himself up. And he rubs his chin and he says, "Say, do you see any smoke coming from that arena?"
Interesting observation.
Do I?
well, we can't see it from here. It would have to be.
Yeah. Why don't you actually have Badathral perception for this one?
Does Badath have advantage on perception being an owl? Or is that an eagle thing?
I forget.
Yes, keen hearing and sight, so it would be an advantage.
Nice.
That advantage would be...
Yeah, just hit advantage on him and then do a wisdom roll.
I don't have his token, so it's not going to be valid.
Can you just do it from the character sheets in the sheet menu?
Oh, yeah, I can... Where the hell is your perception?
He doesn't have it listed as a skill, but you could just roll wisdom for that.
Right. Was
Just make sure you set it to advantage first.
didn't have it set to advantage, did I?
In
You
that
also
case,
rolled
just
a saving throw.
click it one more time. Saving throw is the same as the wisdom skill in
No,
this
that's
case.
true.
All right.
Man, just not noticing things.
10 is average. It is, it is still pretty far away though. But the result that you can tell the Kuromizawa is that you don't see any smoke. Well, you do see, like scorched trees and stuff. You don't see anything currently burning.
Can you see any dragons? Anybody?
You don't see any people at the moment, but it's pretty far away. It's well over 6 miles away, so that's not too surprising.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily imagine anything would be burning. It's not like they need fires for light or body warmth.
That's true, he says. It was just that the thought had occurred to me that we don't know where they lair, and we got here pretty darn quick. I'm wondering if they're here yet.
Well, now that we know where the place is at, are the folks who are on the way, do we think they would be able to I don't think they'd be able to meet us here before the Redshift. We'd have to make double time to get back.
Well, we've got 2 days to get back to Aris's. But if they're bringing an army from Orbis, it's going to be 3, 4, maybe 5 days until they even get there. If we can delay these dragons for that long, then that might work out in our favor. Personally, I'm running under the assumption that I'm going to have to just fight it out.
Well, I suppose we'll have to figure out what their actual forces are.
We could potentially.
My count was about 10 salamanders, a giant, a girl, and a couple of slightly less giant giants.
I have no idea if they've got any other forces they've allocated, though. Sounded like they were planning to.
Mm-hmm. That was the stealth team.
Yeah, I'm kind of favoring the idea of our own stealth team. Maybe a team heads over to the arena to check it out, not engage, while those of us here build traps and dig ditches and all that stuff that needs to happen to fortify this place.
If that's the case, perhaps I should ride out with Montlarin and try to scout from above from a closer location. Obviously, if either of them, really any of them, see Badath, they'll know we're there.
You could bring Jabberlax with you. He's pretty good at getting around quietly. And getting out of it unnoticed, too.
That's true. I mean, anyone who would ride with Montlarin out there to kind of increase our scouting capacity and still have someone who can get back with us quickly might be a good idea here. I could alternatively use phantom steeds, but should those get harmed at all, I wouldn't reveal to get back. It would take a moment to get another one initiated.
Right. We'd want to be fast. Well, I'm neither fast nor quiet, so I'll stick with the fortification team myself.
I can wild shape.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm fast. I'm not quiet.
Well, you
I
would
understand the difference.
reliably fast to get someone quiet close enough to investigate. I wouldn't expect that you would ride up to the gates, but, somewhere close enough that somebody could scout it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Any volunteers? Otherwise, I'm happy to go and bring eyes from the sky.
I think I'm a decent enough candidate for forward scouting, but my main worry is splitting the group, as it were.
Yeah, I actually suggested Alvis because he's small and quiet, and I'm pretty sure you can see in the dark, right, Alvis?
Yes. No. Yes. I won't die. Should focus on defending the place, but I mean, I guess I could scout.
It's just you fit on the horse, you know.
I do.
And he's got Keen.
I do.
Can you see through Keen's eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Keenly, in fact.
Okay. Well, I don't think we need a
will
team that's
also,
very big, but
offer a reminder that those of you who took damage can take a short rest as part of this sleep.
Oh, yes. I was planning on it.
But yeah, that would be an hour of your time. But it sounds like so we've got Nimbus, Irenaeus, Montlarin, Albus Taver, and maybe Jabberlax. So 5 people going that way.
Oh, wow. No, I was only thinking whoever's going to ride with Montlarin and just keep it to one additional person to keep
I
it
got it. Okay.
a very stealthy team.
yeah.
Montlarin could send out Bet Mounty like without him, right?
Yeah, I absolutely can.
That's true.
It's sort of a one-way trip as far as like programming goes, but he's a good boy.
Oh,
Well, wouldn't he be smart enough to like make it back?
take
Yeah,
directions.
He's an above-average intelligence horse by default. I just
Yeah.
mean that I lose my telepathy after like a mile or something like
okay,
that.
I get you. But yeah, if he like knew where you guys were originally staying, he'd be able to find his way back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, then that is definitely an option that can be kept on the table as well.
That's not a bad idea because I am not stealthy at all.
Yeah, I'm not stealthy unless I shapeshift, so.
Sounds good then.
All right, so who's it going to be then?
Oh well, then who are our stealthiest two, basically?
Well, the 2 rogues. Pretty
Yeah.
pretty good.
Well, I'm me and Irenaeus, but there's also me and what's his name?
Jabberlax.
Nice, goblin and a gnome. That's perfect.
It's your call.
That is kind of perfect.
That's like a graphic novel.
I mean, one of them's
A goblin and a gnome walk into a bar.
Gnome. I'm pretty sure you could fit both of those and a Goliath on a warhorse.
For sure.
Oh, okay. If you're going, then it'd be okay. You guys gotta real fortify up the place, though.
Somewhere out of earshot of Mr. Sharp, I would tell Elvis, hey, you get away from Sharp for a moment, so,
Oh yeah, most definitely.
you get to tell the story. He doesn't.
Fantastic.
Jabberlax will ingratiate himself into the trio, and he'll just say, "I'll have your back. I can climb quietly. I can walk quietly, and I can make sure we're not spotted." On the way out, anyway.
You're not coming with me, Mont Lauren?
What was that?
With me, Mont Lauren?
Oh no, I'm staying behind so that I don't mess up the stealth trio. You're captain of Bet Mountie, man. You have the con.
Whoa. You're giving me the reins.
Indeed, figuratively and literally, man. Good luck. Quietly to everybody else, I'm like, take care of him.
I have a +0 to my handle animal. It's okay. So,
Well, yeah, I figure if you guys do get caught, play it off.
Jabber, when you say that, Jabberlax says, "Don't worry. I come from the Builders clan, but I've been with the Riders clan too, and we know how to handle animals just fine. Your magnificent beast will be fine."
anything like a rat? I've taken care of many rats.
No, you can't mount a rat.
I've heard of some pretty big. Have you heard of a rodent of unusual side? ROU?
Listen, I've seen people try it with rats of the size of yours, and even if you have a lot of them, it doesn't really work.
They could pull like a sleigh, though, right?
That's an idea.
I need more rats.
Flash forward to
And then
5
we
years, and he's like the Rat King.
And then we have shades of Willard.
Exactly.
And in one of them, Socrates.
Okay, so I don't want to cut it super short. However, in order to adjudicate this splitting the party stealth fortification mission, I would like a little bit more time to prepare both of these locations to accommodate those things. So I think what we'll do is call the game for tonight here and set it up so that next time we will split the party. I think we'll stick to the schedule of having an off week next week, and then would everybody like to play on the 27th? That is day after Thanksgiving. So
I should be able to.
I don't know my availability, but I don't have anything going on. So
okay. One thing that I might offer us to do is, depending on everyone's availability, maybe we can do kind of a half and half session where fortification team goes out and stealth team goes out, and then that'll be 2 separate sessions, and then we can mash it back up.
I gotcha.
That will help everybody not be bored in that case, and it'll let those take as long as they need to take without feeling like we need to rush. So maybe that's a good idea.
Okay, you currently have the 27th marked as an off week.
I have it. Yeah, it's marked as I don't know if we're going to play that week because I
Okay.
know it's Thanksgiving week, but hopefully nobody really has any plans that week. So hopefully we can still play. I'm up to play that week, so
Yeah,
I
me
can
too.
update the calendar. Okay, why don't we if everybody could like by Monday give me an okay or not okay for that day, and we can decide if we want to do like 2 separate sessions for the 2 groups at that point, and that could work out pretty nice.
Sounds good.
Sweet, man.
Is it something where if everybody's ready on a different sort of day of the week, you would be looking to do it then, or just keeping it to Fridays?
I probably can't run on any day but Fridays.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it would be nice if I could, but I just don't have the time to do that. So, we'll split it up across Fridays. I think we'll have enough content for both situations at the very least. They might be slightly shorter sessions, but that should be fine. And then we could meet up for get the whole party back together session.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Okay.
Cool. All right, that sounds good to me. So give me availability for the 27th by Monday if you can, and then we'll update the calendar and get everybody ready to go.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good. Cool. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for the session, man.
Welcome back. Sorry, we had a whole month off, but
It happens.
we've got plenty of time to play now.
Nice.